Hello boys and girls, guess what? It's time for One Book July! Are you excited? Oh, okay, for those of you who don't know what One Book July is, let me cue you in. One Book July is an evil little challenge that I came up with last year for the Coffee Addicts Club, which is myself, Carrie Harling and Miss Vicky B. And the premise behind it was to just take a month where it wasn't about what we planned or how we planned or where we planned or which filofax we were using or which Midori we were using or how many different pens we had or anything. We cut back to basics and the month became all about the system you're using. And it's for whatever you want to use it for. So planning, journaling, art, writing, anything creative that you're doing. You know, all these things that we have lots of different folders and files and books and journals and everything else for. Get back to basics. Forget all the paraphernalia and go back to your system. And this came from a discussion about planner peace. There is a myth in the planner community and indeed in the journaling community and art community that if you have the right fill in the blank, you will be able to fill in the blank like a pro. You know, if you've got the right filofax, your planning will be amazing and you'll be organised and everything will fall into place and hallelujah. If you have the right kind of paper and paint and that particular pen that you saw somebody using to draw something that came out really well a couple of weeks ago on a YouTube video, then your art will be as good as theirs. If you have all these different planners and styles and, you know, sticky pads and notes and paper goods and whatever else it is that you find at Poundland or Target or Asda or wherever it is you shop, you will have the perfect system for your journal or your planning or your whatever. And it's a myth. It's a complete myth. Planner peace is up here. Get this sorted out, your system, your method, know what you need to achieve something, know what you need to complete something, know what you absolutely must have on you at all times to be able to function, and you will achieve planner, journal, art journal peace. Okay? That's my premise. That's why I came up with this challenge, because I don't believe that spending X amount on Uber Duber's brand new planner with all the pretty stickers is going to suddenly make you organised if you are not organised. You've got to do it up here. It's got to come from up here. When you can get this organised so that you can move your system at any time to any planner, journal, book, system, notebook, phone, tablet, digital organiser, whatever, and it will still function and still work for you, that's when you've achieved planner peace. Or that's when I believe you've achieved planner peace. Here's the challenge. 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month. I know, I can already hear you saying, oh, but I have to colour code. I have to colour code. I have to do this, I have to do that. Yeah, whatever. People said that last year as well. Whatever. You need a small book, planner, notebook, whatever it is that you want to use. Now, small is relative. If you normally use, say, a passport Midori or a field notes Midori, but you've stuffed it with like 5 different books, perhaps cut it down to 2 and use that for the month. If you normally use 7 A5 filofaxes and a Midori Traveller's Notebook with 6 different booklets in it, and that is your planning system, maybe just cut it down to 1 file of facts and a traveller's notebook with only 3 books in it instead of 6. You know, it's relative to your system. The only caveat to this is do not mess up something that is already working that you absolutely need. So if you have a work planner that is separate to everything that you do, if you have a wallet that is separate, if you have a financial system that is completely separate, something like that, that you manage your stuff through, that you cannot change the system. You know, some people are students. Carrie's a student. She does all sorts of different classes and things. She has a specific notebook set up for all her class notes. She can't just change that for 1 month. She's had it for years. You know, she always uses it. She can't just change that just for July. Vicky teaches, so she has tutorials and things, and she has a planner for that. She has to have that separately, otherwise things slip through the cracks. That's fine. Okay? I myself have a financial planner. I have a file of facts. This is what I'm using my file of facts Kensington for. I have a file of facts with my monthly accounts in for the business. And also for things like bills and credit card payments and stuff like that. I'm not messing up my accounts system for my business just for 1 month. It's not going to happen. But I can put aside other things that I don't have to use, like my traveller's notebook, or, you know, various other planners that I use for different things, my spiritual planner perhaps, things like that. I can put that aside for 1 month to concentrate on my planning and journaling to see what I really need. Okay, so that's the 1 book part. And yes, if you want to use the Midori Traveller's notebooks with 3 notebooks in it, that's fine. That still counts as 1 book as far as I'm concerned. Some people have to split planning, note-taking and journaling, or planning, journaling and art, or notes, planning and whatever. Some people have to split it by booklet, and that's fine. You know, that's no different to taking a big book like this and saying, right, I'm going to start here for my planning and I'm going to start here for my journaling. It's the same thing. As long as it's in 1 Midori Traveller's notebook, then you're good. Same with file of faxes. If you want a file of fax that's got 6 different sections in it, that's fine. Whatever, however it works for you. Remember, you're only doing it for a month, so you don't need to set up an entire year's worth of stuff. Although you might, if you're busy, you might want forward planning sections. But there's no reason why you can't just have plain paper for your forward planning, or post-its for your forward planning, and just write on the post-its until you decide which bit of the system you like, what you want to keep, what you want to use in August. Let's talk about the next section, 1 pen, because this is where people started having a heart attack last year. They were all like, oh yeah, okay, I can do one book, I can manage 1 book, I can use 1 file of facts, I can use 1 Midori Traveller's notebook, as long as I've got 7 booklets in it, I'm fine. But when I said 1 pen, everybody was like, but I have to colour code, oh my god. I have a fountain pen, I like to use different colours, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh. It's relative, people, okay? It's relative. Just like size, it's relative. If you are the kind of person who regularly carries around a suitcase of pens because you use 50 different ones for 40 different colour codes, then you might want to just pare down to maybe 1 set. You know, 1 set of 12 Stabilos, or a 10 set of Triplus markers, or something like that. If you normally colour code with 25 different colours, perhaps you want to drop down to a 5-barrel Colito and only use 5 colours. Okay, that maybe that 1 pen is what you'll need to start with. Because you can't just go from 25 different colours to, oh, let's all write in black. You just can't. If you're one of those people, check out Carrie Harling's videos, because she is I think she uses 17 different colours or something, or she did before last year, and she dropped down to 3 colours and a highlighter. So that's a good one for you to use. If you're somebody who uses a million different planners, go and watch Vicky B, because she has a planner for everything and a few spare. But like I said, don't mess with a system like a work system or something that you absolutely have to have, like an illness tracker or a medication tracker or something. Don't mess with something important like that. Okay, we're just talking about the day-to-day personal bits and pieces, the flotsam and jetsam, if you will, of the non-hardcore planning bits. Now, for the rest of you who are a bit kind of, well, I need to plan it for work and I want to journal and I want to do art and I need to do this and I need to do that, but I don't really have to use the 50 billion planners and notebooks that I've got. I quite like a challenge of putting it into one book. Then I'm the person you need to keep following because, well, you need to keep following all of us to get ideas, but I will be using one book and one pen for 1 month, okay? I am actually doing the full challenge. I know that Vicky will change the challenge a little bit to include various different things that she knows from last year she needed. I know that Carrie will tweak the challenge. I am going to keep to one book and one pen for 1 month. That's it. Now, in addition, obviously, to your one book, one pen, 1 month, you can use any paper products. So, you know, if you will need dividers, sticky tabs, tags, page flags, it includes things like these. These are plastic, but I count them as paper goods. So any stationery items that are not pens, if you want to use stationery items, you can, okay? If you want instead, you're not really into paper and stuff and page flags and sticky notes, but you really, really, really would like to have your little travel watercolour kit and you want to use that for the month, so one book, one pen, 1 month, and this, that's fine too. If you are colour pencil themed, 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month, and a couple of coloured pencils that you use regularly, like, you know, because if you draw faces a lot, and I know a lot of us do, if you draw faces, you need your face colours. You may decide that, you know, you're going to use a non-waterproof pen and use a water brush. Okay, so your water brush might be your extra. You may be one of those people who, you don't need to colour code, you don't need to do anything else, but you must have something that makes things stand out. You don't want to carry lots of stuff, you don't want to use different colours, you just want to have one thing that helps something stand out. Then throw in a highlighter, okay? One highlighter with your 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month. One highlighter for, you know, your titles or your really important stuff, or highlighting specific days that you have to do stuff. I don't count a highlighter as a pen because a highlighter doesn't have to be a pen, okay? It's not a cheat because you can't write with this. Well, you could do titles and stuff, but you can't write with this. It's a colour. It's for colouring. So you could have a highlighter pen, or you could use highlighter stickers. This is my personal preference. You could use one of those highlighter tape runner things. I've got one somewhere. I don't offhand know exactly where it is. You might want to do your highlighting by using some of these. Sticky post-it notes with tabs on. However you need to do it, okay? That's the challenge. That's why we're doing it. So that you can work out exactly what it is that you absolutely have to have. You have to have it. Of course, you can add in any ephemera, collage pieces, bits and pieces like that, any paper products whatsoever you can have in your journal, okay? That is your journal, your planner, whatever, okay? That's I hope, obvious. So if you need a glue stick to put those in, then obviously you're going to have a glue stick. We're not counting tools, we're not counting anything like that. This was something that caused a lot of uproar last year because, oh, 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month, but then you're adding all this stuff. No, we're not. 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month, and if you must add in something like a colour system of some sort, couple of coloured pencils because you do art, or some watercolours because you're doing watercolour stuff or whatever, then that's fine, add that in. Let me show you what my system's going to be. I am using my little black book. It's I think it's 300 pages, 600 sides. I can't remember. It's really nice paper. It takes collage and watercolour. It does buckle a little bit, but that's never bothered me. I can do all sorts of things in it. I've been planning in it this month, as you can see. I've actually been following, up until she stopped doing it because her dog was sick, I've been following Paint and Chronicle with Susie Blue, but not, I've been doing bits and pieces of it here and there that I wanted to do. So it's a similar idea to that, but you know, we started doing this last year, not to, her premise is to have everything all in one book, to be able to organise your life in one book and have a really beautiful book. That's the whole point of it. Whereas this is more about getting back to basics and working out what your system needs to be, and then adding things in that you want or you like, but you don't necessarily need them. If you were dumped on a desert island with a sheet of paper and a black pen, you could still do your system, okay? That's what this is about. It's a lot more to do with the planning than it is to do with anything else. So, my little black Believe book, and I'll leave the link down below to Vicky B's video. She has one of these as well if you haven't seen it already. You can go and have a look at that. This cost me, I just searched on eBay for a thick blank journal notebook, and this came up in about 12 different places. It came up in loads of places, especially in Korea. I actually bought one because I needed one in a hurry. I bought one from the UK and it only cost me £8 plus postage. And then I bought another couple from Korea which were free postage and only cost me £2.99 each. But they took 6 weeks to arrive. So that's going to be my book. My pen, at the moment I'm using this one because I want to, it's almost finished. It's almost empty. If you can see, I'm using this one. I will probably continue to use this one for now because it's comfortable to write with. It's a no brand 0.38 gel pen, waterproof ink, and I got it in Staples, I think, for about 40p. It's not a massively amazing pen or anything like that. If this runs out before the end of July, then I will swap to one of these. This is a bit ballpoint. This is a blue one, but I'll probably swap to a black one because I prefer writing in black. But I will only do that if this runs out before then. If this runs out before July, I may start with one of these and finish with one of these. But, you know, I'm not choosing pens. I'm not saying, oh, well, I want to use this pen, but I want to have this pen as well, and I'm going to use both of them because I want to cheat. It's not about that. It's like I've only got one of these pens. I've been looking for another one somewhere, but I can't find it. Otherwise, I would simply, you know, when this one runs out, use another one. If this runs out before the challenge or before I start the challenge or whatever, then I'll swap to one of these. But it's the same basic principle. It's going to be a black, waterproof pen, nothing fancy, okay? I'm not like using a fountain pen or whatever, because I know Vicky B will do that, and I'm not using multicolours because I know Carrie will do that. So I'm sticking to one colour, just black. And at the moment I plan to use this or a ballpoint if it runs out before One Book July starts. Another contender for the throne is this, which is my Platinum carbon ink pen, because I absolutely love this for drawing, writing, everything. It's sketching, colouring. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful, uber fine nib. I love it. The problem with this one is that I'm a bit precious about it and I don't want to lose it, and it doesn't fit into this thing very well. If the lid comes off, the pen drops out. So I don't know if I want to use that, although I do have a band. I just got an old hairband and it's got my German Shepherd charm on it, and I just threw that over just to keep the book together when it's in my bag. I don't want to doctor it into a Midori. I just wanted to keep it together when it's in my bag, because my bag is not very big and I need to pare down as much as possible. So yeah, that's my setup. I will let you know what pen I'm going to go with. Basically, it depends whether this one runs out fast or not. And I'm also going to use my watercolours, my koi watercolours. This is the 24 travel set of koi watercolours with my watercolour brush. One of the reasons I'm using this is because I'm teaching during July. Normally I don't teach in July. I have July off, so I don't need to have my watercolours with me. I can just use whatever. But this year, because I moved house, I took June off. So I'm teaching in July. I need to have this with me. I've got to have it. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. But this is my pack for One Book July. This is my setup, basically. That's it. So, one book, one pen, 1 month. Choose one other colour, something to use if you feel you need it. You don't have to have another colour. You could have a pencil instead if you want. Maybe you want this and a pencil. That's fine. I actually may need to add a pencil in, because again, I'm teaching. I'm going to need a pencil. But again, it won't be anything fancy. It'll just be a 0.3 mechanical pencil like I always use for drawing. It won't be anything uber fancy or anything like that. But considering I normally use about 12 different pencils in different gauges and I have 172 set of colour pencils, that's quite good for me, I think, because I am a professional artist. To pare down to just this for an entire month is pretty good, I think. So I'm going to stop this video now because that is the introduction for One Book July. I will do a close-up of this to show you what I've been playing about with in June. Now, obviously, I won't be doing exactly the same thing in July because I'll have one pen for a start. But I want to give you an idea of some of the things I've been doing in this book for the last couple of weeks. Basically, I'd already moved. It was the middle of June. I didn't really want to have to print out my DIY fish inserts and all that in the middle of the month. So I was already journaling in this and I thought, well, I'll just stick June in here. I was already planning to journal in this, so I thought, well, I'll just stick June in the front here and do the last 2 weeks of June in here. So I will show you that in a separate video next. That will be my setup video. If you want to join in, obviously, you know the rules now. You can follow myself, Miss Vicky B, or Carrie Harling on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook, anywhere you find us, you can follow us. Everything I do goes to all of them anyway. But I will be specifically putting photos of my One Book July stuff on Instagram. You can also come and join us by liking our page, facebook.com, One Book July. If you are not on Facebook, you can still access it, okay? It's an open page, so you can still come, you can still have a look at what other people are doing, you can go and watch their videos, you can comment on their videos, all that kind of stuff. You can go and see people's blog posts. And if you are doing a blog post, I know there's several people have already said, yeah, I've got a setup for One Book July. I know what I'm going to do. I'm already started. I'm already going to film. By all means, come to the Facebook page and post links to your video, but only once, okay? I don't want to see you posting the same video over and over and over and over again. The page is not for spamming, okay? Anybody who spams, you'll be out. I won't allow that. I'll block you. It's just for One Book July and it's just for individual blog posts. I don't want one specific person taking over the entire thread with, oh, and here's a blog post about something else I did, and here's a blog post about something else I did. It's not relevant to One Book July. It's not going on the page, okay? Let's keep it to just One Book July. You can post other stuff in other places. If you would like to grab the icon, that is going to be available on the page later. You can share that on your blog, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Tumblr, whatever you want to do. And also, anytime you post something to any social media site, list it as hashtag onebookjuly in the tags, okay? When you make a blog post, when you use an Instagram, anything like that, you've got the option to put in your tag, whatever the tag is, and our hash is hashtag onebookjuly 2015. If you do the same on social media for last year, you'll find hashtag onebookjuly 2014. That's last year. You can go and look that up. I believe I put it on Tagboard, but you can only put once on Tagboard. So yes, go and have a look at that. There is a playlist. If you go to my playlists, which I think is up there, I'm not really sure, they keep moving the links. It might be up there or it might be over there on the drop down. Go to my playlists and you will find one called One Book July 2014 and One Book July 2015. Now, if you post a YouTube video, this is very important. Either in the title of your video, the description of your video, so the little down bar, or in the actual tags when you upload, if you know what you're doing with tags and you want to put it in there, put in the hashtag onebookjuly 2015. With or without the hash symbol, it doesn't matter. Put that into your video somewhere in the writing of your video, and it will automatically add it to the playlist within 24 hours as long as your video is public. It does take a little while to update because obviously page tags only take a little while to update and it takes a little while for the search to update. But if you put that in your video, it will automatically add it to my playlist and you can go to the playlist every day and see what new videos are available. Okay? You can also go to YouTube and put in hashtag onebookjuly 2015 or onebookjuly 2015 in the search, and it will also pick out the newest videos because sometimes they come up in the search results before they go into the playlist. So you will be able to keep up there. But also, as I said, we will all be posting on the One Book July Facebook page. You can all come and post on the One Book July Facebook page as well if you like, and let's get this road on the show, shall we? Yes. We start next week, but I will be back to tell you about a little bit more about my setup and show you inside this because everybody wanted to see it before we started One Book July. But of course, at that point, they didn't know I was using it for One Book July, so fooled you. Do come along and play. Follow myself for regular updates. I will be doing hopefully 2 updates a week for One Book July, definitely 1. And if you want to follow Carrie and Miss Vicky B, you'll find them down below as collaborators on the challenge as well. Go follow them and we will see you around somewhere. You will find me everywhere on social media, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, the whole kit and caboodle as Rhomany, at Rhomany. If you want to go to my website or you want to visit my classes or anything like that, you'll find me at RhomanysRealm.org.uk, same as it is for YouTube. It's a whole domain thing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, that is the introduction, the challenge. 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month. Come and play. It's going to be fun. I hope. Come and play because it's going to be loads of fun. Bye.